Hello everybody and welcome to the 2026 RWL Draft. I'm your commissioner, two-time MVP, two-time World Series MVP, one-time Gold Glove winner, Ben Rotundo and manager of the Southern Serpents, the greatest team in this league's history. I'm coming to you today. We have another draft. This is our 5th year doing this draft, and last year was marketed as the last year. All of us would be getting employed. A lot of us will be jobs, moving away, whatever. We knew that shit was not happening. We were having a wiffle ball league every summer. I don't care if anyone's employed. We all knew that this league would come back, the greatest league in sports. The day I'm recording this, the NFL draft is on. Mickey Mouse Roger Goodell has nothing on. The commissioner right here, Ben Rotundo and RWL. So this is going to be a phenomenal draft. I'm very excited for a lot of prospects. We had a lot of faces last year who had to leave. We always expect some turnover. We had a lot of people who didn't play last year, who played in previous years, who are coming back, eager to have another chance at victory. It's going to be a great year, guys, and I'm very excited, how we get into this. As a commissioners in sports, they always say the same thing. Oh, this is going to be the best year because of X, Y, and Z. I truly believe that this is going to be the best year in our history due to the hype from our players, the hype from our managers, and just the talent. We say that every year, but we've had 5 drafts. This is going to be the 5th draft in this league's history. There hasn't been a draft where everybody traded a pick besides one team. There's usually in previous drafts maybe one trade. Oh, I'll swap these picks, right? 5 teams before the draft even had started had traded so many different picks to go from here to here to here to here. We posted them on the Instagram to keep everybody updated. But a lot of confusion. We did a draft lottery before the draft. But after all trades and everything has happened up to this point, this is the draft order that we'll be selecting. And right now, the Frontier Frost are on the clock. They landed the 4th pick initially and had traded up to select at number 1 with the Midwest Express. So Tate Yannick, the reigning champion, will be selecting first overall. Like I said, guys, not the greatest production value for a draft video. I'm still at school, so the apartment's gonna have to do. No co-host, I can do it all on my own. No pink jacket like usual, just ripping the jersey. Just like we are, but let's get into this thing. And with the first pick in the 2026 RWL Draft, the Frontier Frost select Clayton Krish, pitcher/shortstop. There's nothing really to say here about Clayton Krish. Undeniably, probably the best player in this draft. Arguably a top 5 player in this league. He is a superstar, and Tate Yannick getting paired up with his arch rival who has beefed with this guy for so long. Landing Clayton Krish is huge. The concern there is if Clayton is really going to be that second arm, but these two have feuded for years. My old teammate is going to land with Tate Yannick, and Clayton is going to be in the white and orange. Going to be something to see for sure, and I know those two are going to be pecking at Blake Kurlander all season, so he's definitely going to fit in right with the Frost. Selecting number 2 is the Central Cowboys. They landed the 2nd pick in this draft. They had the 2nd worst odds at 1, but rose 3 spots to select here, and they didn't trade out at all. Luke Rotundo is selecting at 2nd. He's lost back-to-back World Series, trying to figure out what's going to work for them and try to hopefully win a 2nd championship. And with the 2nd overall pick, the Central Cowboys select Michael Hopkins. It would feel wrong for Luke to not select his guy here. Michael last year with the Express had a very up and down year. He hit very well, but the pitching was kind of on the down low. Previously played with the Cowboys for 2 years. He won a championship with them and lost the championship. Won a Gold Glove and a Finals MVP. Michael Hopkins is going back to the Cowboys. It feels right. The first pick feels wrong. Clayton Krish going to the Frost. It feels super weird. But this pick feels right for Luke. Luke Rotundo always drafts very steadily. Gets guys who are going to come in and do their job, and this is just a layup of a pick for Luke Rotundo. Selecting 3rd is the United Outlaws. Previously, the Southern Serpents, had this pick. I did a 3-team trade with the Pacific and the Outlaws. First-year manager Everett Kaplan got the call to be a manager. A couple days later, this guy is already climbing the ranks in the draft board. Says, I want to pick at 3. He will be picking here instead of the Serpents. The number 3 overall pick in the 2026 Rotundo Wiffle Ball League Draft, the United Outlaws select Zion Stevens. This is just a phenomenal pick. Zion, a very small sample size from last year. We saw him fill in for Logan Martin and the Serpents last year. Unbelievable on the mound. He threw 6 shutout innings, throwing absolute gas, and he would have hit a home run if Hunter Nichols didn't have the greatest play of all time. Zion is a true superstar in the making. A great guy on and off the field. Everett Kaplan and him are already, very familiar with each other. I think this is such a good pick for first-year manager Everett Kaplan. trades up to get a superstar in this draft, Zion. I know this guy's going to fit right in at home with Everett, and they're going to have a great time. Great pick for first-year manager Everett Kaplan. Like I said previously, Tate Yannick had traded up to number 1. The team selecting number 1 was the Midwest Express. And taking over the Midwest Express this year is Austin Dubeck, who managed this team 2 years ago. Last year took a hike to Africa, I guess, and says, hey, I'm coming back. Let me run the trains. Dubeck won the lottery, was picking first, and trades back to select 4th here. Austin Dubeck is on the clock. The 4th pick in the 2026 RWL Draft, the Midwest Express select Jax Andrews. Now, this is an unbelievable pick. Austin Dubeck needs pitching immediately. He gets a guy who arguably could have won Finals MVP last year for the Frontier Frost. You know, Tate Yannick was out of pitching eligibility. Jax comes in Game 3 and just shoves the door down the Cowboys' throat. Jax Andrews was one of the biggest risers from last year. You know, the first year he was here, he had a phenomenal year. Then kind of fell off a little bit in his last year with the Outlaws. Then last year was just arguably a superstar for the Frontier Frost, and Dubeck getting him here 4 is huge. This pick was originally held by the Western Pacific, but they had traded a little bit back. Now I will be selecting, the Southern Serpents will be selecting here at 5. With the 5th pick in the 2026 RWL Draft, the Southern Serpents select Chase Krish. And I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but last year I selected Chase Krish in the 1st round, only to trade him a week later for Logan Martin, who entered the league. Chase Krish is an unbelievable pitcher, and honestly, I could say I regret trading him a little bit last year. This guy was a stud for the Outlaws, and he was a power bat. Average wasn't super high, but he can pitch, and he's unbelievable. Just know, Chase, I know you're watching this, or whoever out there, I will not be trading you. You will be a Serpent for the whole 2026 season. Let's go, kid. I'm excited. I said any pick has been touched. It's probably been traded. At this pick, the Western Pacific will be selecting. This pick was originally held by the United Outlaws, but a lot of the movement with the 3-team trade, Blake Kurlander is picking here. And with the 6th overall pick in the 2026 RWL Draft, the Western Pacific select Matthew Dubeck, rookie. Yeah, this is a great pick for Blake Kurlander. Getting Austin's brother right before Austin's picking. Hold on here, guys. I'm getting word of a trade. I know I don't have anything in my ear. I'm getting something. I'm getting a live trade here for you guys. Let me confirm the details. We have a trade right after this pick was just selected. Blake Kurlander and Austin Dubeck have traded players. Jax Andrews will go to that Pacific, and Matthew Dubeck will go to the Trains. A 4-for-6 pick swap. It seems like Austin Dubeck was hoping his brother would be at 7. Not the case. Blake Kurlander blocks him and uses this as trade bait. They have swapped players. A live draft trade. The Express will get Matthew Dubeck, and the Pacific will get Jax Andrews. Big move for Blake Kurlander. I think this is a great move for Blake Kurlander to get back on track to hopefully winning his first RWL championship. You get a guy who just won the World Series. He faced the pressures of those, big innings, big at-bats, getting stars out like me. He ended my season last year. Jax Andrews is a phenomenal pitcher, and I think Blake Kurlander's ecstatic to have him on his team. Blake Kurlander, a really good move here on draft night. He gets his guy. And we move to the 7th overall pick. Like I said, a pick has been touched. It's probably been traded. This pick was originally held by the United Outlaws, but with all the movement around, Austin Dubeck has landed at number 7. After just occurring that trade, Dubeck will pick at 7. And with the 7th overall pick, the Midwest Express select Tyler Martin, infield. Yeah, I mean, this is a great pick. There's nothing else really to say about it. Tyler Martin, statistically didn't really show what he could do last year. He was drafted 2nd overall to the Outlaws. Never really found his groove. He would play a series, miss a series, was a little bit of an availability issue. He couldn't really find his groove, but he was one of the best defensive players in the year, and he reminds me a lot of Alex Bregman. He's going to have a very disciplined approach and hopefully hit a couple bombs, and I think this is a great pick for Dubeck, getting a pure guy who has a lot of upside. Great pick for that second-year manager, Austin Dubeck. I'm going to be saying it all night, fellas. This pick has been touched, originally held by the Western Pacific, but my Southern Serpents in our 3-team trade have obtained this number 8 pick. With the 8th pick in the 2026 RWL Draft, the Southern Serpents select Alex Coco. Getting Alex Coco here at 8, I think feels unbelievable. The guy was an MVP candidate 3 years ago. He's dealt with some bad teams all his career, but he's coming to the Golden State Warriors of wiffle ball. Alex Coco is a proven, disciplined guy that I want on this team. He's going to hit me some bombs. Alex, chuck. Let's go. Going to sound like a beaten drum all night, fellas, but this pick has been touched. Previously owned by the Frontier Frost, was traded around a couple times, has landed in the hands of Blake Kurlander, Western Pacific manager, there on the clock at 9. And with the 9th overall pick in the 2026 RWL Draft, the Western Pacific select Aaron Shaheeney, infield DH. Yeah, it wouldn't be any other way with Blake getting his guy Aaron here at 9. One of the biggest first halves ever out of a hitter last year. He led in home runs. He was on the MVP ladder at one point, had a little bit of a decline, but still had phenomenal hitting stats. And Blake gets a pure hitter here as his 3rd pick. Pairing him with Jax Andrews is going to be a very interesting dynamic. Blake Kurlander gets his guy, already has the jerseys from last year. Aaron Shaheeney is going to be a Pacific yet again. Good pick. This pick was previously held by the Southern Serpents, and with our 3-team trade, this has landed in first-year manager, United Outlaws manager, Everett Kaplan's hands. Everett Kaplan will be selecting here at 10. And with the 10th overall pick, the United Outlaws select Hunter Nichols. This is a great pick. Hunter Nichols, probably the funniest guy in the league. Just to give you guys a backstory on this guy, I mean, he texted me a month ago, my elbow's blown out, I can't play. I'm finalizing our player counts. He's like, Coach, I'm in, I can play, I'll be fine, I'll suffer through it, whatever the kid says. He's back, he lands with his good old bud, Everett Kaplan, or as he calls him, the beer chugger. This is going to be an interesting dynamic to say the least. You have Everett and Hunter who are going to be off the walls, and Zion's going to be a cool-headed guy to keep these two down. But Everett Kaplan, I think, is making some great moves as a first-year manager. I'm very excited to see this bullpen, at least, from the Outlaws. You have 3 guys already who can all pitch. Just going to be figuring out who's going to be the 1 and 2 for that team. Really like this pick from Everett. The only team who didn't trade is the Central Cowboys, who are selecting at 11 here. And with the 11th pick in the 2026 RWL Draft, the Central Cowboys select Alec Baldoff. This is one of the unknowns of the draft, along with Matthew Dubeck. This is a rookie that has watched our channel for a couple of years, has played in the backyards of Luke and Michael. They get a homegrown guy who's been in our AAA. He's been playing a lot in the backyard. High school baseball player. We don't know. This guy could be a superstar for them at 11. They picked Luke picked Luke Parker last year. Guy ended up being an MVP candidate. This could be a steal at 11 for the Cowboys, who are looking to win another World Series after heartbreakingly losing the last 2. Luke Rotundo just makes steady picks, like I said. Just a phenomenal selection for the kid. Picking here at 12 is your reigning champs, the Frontier Frost. After trading this pick around, Tate Yannick has pretty much traded a lot of his capital to land that first pick with Clayton Krish, and he will be selecting at 12 and also at 18. So interesting to see what Tate Yannick's going to do here at 12 to try to pair himself with Clayton Krish. The 12th overall pick in the 2026 RWL Draft, the Frontier Frost select Andrew Faraka. Guy is also another unknown player. Last year, he was in the draft. The Serpents drafted him and then had to pull out a couple weeks later and had to be replaced. This guy's always had his foot in the door, wanting to get in this league. Last year, he went 7th. This year, he goes 12th. Tate Yannick, this is a phenomenal pick. Has a big background with Clayton Krish, so that's going to be a fun locker room to say the least. But, I can't really say much about this guy. Tate Yannick is doing really good things right now in this draft and trying to build himself the only team to go back-to-back in this league. Tate Yannick, great pick. With the 13th overall pick, the Midwest Express will be selecting. This pick was not traded at all. Austin Dubeck has selected himself Matthew Dubeck and Tyler Martin, 2 very good prospects. And his 4th player will be at 13, so he has an advantage above a lot of other people. His final pick is very early. He can put together a really good 4th person here. Let's see who he goes with. With the 13th overall pick in the 2026 RWL Draft, the Midwest Express select Daniel Hopkins. Yeah, I mean, you talk about underrated players. This guy, I think, is at the top of the list. He bat 300 last year, 400 a couple years ago. He's played in World Series the last 2 years with the Cowboys. He is a very, very disciplined and good hitter. That Dubeck is getting us his 4th best player. I think Austin Dubeck has come back into this draft and put his paws all over it and drafted himself a really good squad of himself, his brother, Tyler Martin, and Daniel Hopkins. Only thing is I'm hoping they can get that pitching figured out, because on paper, this could be the best 1 through 4 lineup in the league. Very excited what Austin Dubeck did here, and getting Daniel at 13 is just ridiculous. What a pick. I said, this pick has not been traded. The Central Cowboys will be rounding out their roster here at 14. Luke Rotundo grabbed his old buddy Michael Hopkins in the first round and then circled back and getting Alec Baldoff, a guy that they have been played with. Who will they pair with to match this roster and hopefully get back to a World Series? With the 14th overall pick, the Central Cowboys select Trip Krish. This guy, he played a little bit last year with the Outlaws and his 2 big brothers. He's going to be landing himself with Luke Rotundo, a guy that he's played in our backyard for a while. Trip Krish knows this Rotundo Wiffle Ball League stuff. He's been in our backyard. He's watched for a while. It was time to make him an official player. I know he's fired up. Trip, you landed yourself on one of the best franchises in this league, the Central Cowboys. Luke Rotundo behind the helm. Trip is going to be a phenomenal player. I really like this pick for Luke Rotundo. Getting him at 14 is it's a good pick. is going to be selected by my Southern Serpents. This is a pick that I did not trade. I wanted to stay at 15 for a reason. I saw a lot of value in 15, so we're going to see who I take. The 15th overall pick in the 2026 RWL Draft. We're going to run it back, baby. Adam Coco is coming home to the Southern Serpents. Yeah, I mean, you talk about value. Adam Coco here at 15, pairing him up with his brother and Chase. I really love how this squad has rounded out. Adam Coco at 15, a guy who's going to hit a couple home runs for sure. He's going to be a high energy guy, and I'm very interested to see him and his brother on the same team. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I could be in for a lot. These two guys are very competitive. Competitive-wise, I think this is a great team. Adam Coco, I know you're watching this right now, and I know that you going 15th is going to make you very upset. I need you to use that fire, son, and we're going to come back and hopefully get a ring, what is right for you in a green jersey. Rounding out here is the United Outlaws. They had traded this pick with the Frontier Frost. Everett Kaplan, first-year manager, is going to try to round out his team. So far, it's him, Hunter, and Zion. Everett Kaplan here will be selecting. And with the 16th overall pick in the 2026 RWL Draft, the United Outlaws select Kush Vadi. Kush Vadi, a late addition to this league. He's played in years before, and a lot of people do call him Tate Yannick's daddy, because he's homered on him multiple times. Kush Vadi, a late replacement after Jaden Patel could not play. Kush gets the call, and he's going to hang out with his big boy buddy, Everett Kaplan. They're going to hit some bombs together, who knows? But Everett rounds out his roster here with Kush. Rounding out the Western Pacific roster, they're going to be selecting 17th. So far, Blake Kurlander, an MVP candidate of last year. Put some respect on my guy, Blake. He gets hated on all these group chats and all of everybody online. I know he's going to win one year. Maybe it's this year, Blake. But he's traded for Jax, selected his boy Aaron, and he will be selecting here at 17. And with the 17th overall pick, the Western Pacific select Tate Rotundo. Yeah, I know Blake Kurlander's got to take my little brother here for one reason. He ended their season last year homering off Steven. I know Blake felt that sting, and he's like, I gotta get that kid on my team. And he rounds out his team here. Tate Rowe, who knows what he can do this year? That's my dog. I think he's gonna be great. We'll see. Blake Kurlander, a good pick to round out his roster. And rounding out our draft is the Frontier Frost, who had traded this pick with the Outlaws. The Frontier Frost with the 18th overall pick select Luke Van Eyck. Who could say they saw it coming? Luke Van Eyck. Last pick again in this draft, but he lands with one of his best friends, Tate Yannick, and this is going to be an interesting clubhouse to say the least. You're going to have Clayton and Luke who are off the walls, and I think Andrew and Luke might be a little bit more level-headed, but Luke Van Eyck lands with his buddy. Luke has a rainbow of jerseys that he's played on. He's finally going to land on the Frost. Maybe this coaching from Tate Yannick can maybe help him elevate his game to something that we've always expected, and maybe help this Frost team become really good and maybe win back-to-back. I just want to say thank you guys to everybody for another phenomenal year to be able to play. I'm definitely the most excited I have been to play this year. I'm ready to just get back. So it's gonna be a great time. Looking at these rosters on paper, it is hard to rank teams 1 through 6 or however you guys want to do it, because so many talent is in this league, and it's going to be such a great year. The chirping has already started between Tate and Blake. That's how you know the season is back and ready. But the next time we will see you guys will be week 1, which will be the Cowboys versus the Frost, a World Series rematch. But as the greatest commissioner in league history, I will be signing off here today. Who knows if this is the last draft? One would say it probably wouldn't be, but the 2026 draft has conceded, and we will see you guys week 1.